Hello everyone, welcome back. We are solving today's 2025 October-November paper 22. We'll start with the first question and then we'll progress with the episode coming up. So without a delay, let's get started. Question number 1. R Limited is a retail business. The following draft statement of profit and loss was prepared for the year ended 31st December 2024. Revenue, cost of sales, gross profit, distribution cost, administrative expense, profit from operation, finance cost, profit before taxation, then taxation and profit for the year. So they prepared a statement of profit and loss account, and from revenue till profit for the year, all the informations are given. But it also says it has been discovered that some errors were made when preparing this draft statement. Number 1, revenue included the value of some goods sent on sales or return basis with the selling price of 4,200. Markup on this goods is 50%. The customer had not yet decided whether to keep these goods. So this is the amount included in the revenue, but customer hasn't confirmed the sales yet. So we need to remove it from the sales and then include the amount of the cost in our closing inventory. So we'll do that calculation in a while. Then sales return of 1,600 were omitted from the statement of profit and loss account. So we did not write sales return. Purchase return of 740 were treated as sales return when preparing the statement of profit and loss account. There was a purchase return, but we wrote that as a sales return. So we need to add it back to the sales and then we need to subtract it from purchase 740. Distribution cost included the total cost of marketing campaign of 14,000. The marketing campaign commenced on 1st May 2024 and will end on 31st August 2025. So if you count from 1st May 2024 to 31st August 2025, this is 16 months. For 16 months, we paid 14,000. But if you look at this question out here, our year is ending on 31st December 2024. So from January 25 to August 25, those 8 months is not this year's cost. So we'll subtract it from marketing campaign, which was included in distribution cost. Then number 5, the company's policy is to depreciate furniture and equipment at 10% per annum using the reducing balance method. So we use depreciation reducing balance method of 10% per annum. Furniture and equipment were purchased for 36,000 on 1st January 2023. So this is the information about furniture and equipment. That is 36,000 and we purchased that on 1st January 2023. That means last year. Depreciation for the year ended 31st December 2023 had been correctly calculated. So last year we correctly calculated, which is 10%. But depreciation on furniture and equipment for the year ended 31st December 2024 was incorrectly calculated using the reducing balance method at 15% per annum. So this year we calculated 15%, but it's supposed to be 10%. So depreciation amount was incorrectly calculated. We need to correct it. Then this depreciation is divided equally between the distribution cost and administrative expenses. So whatever the amount of depreciation we have, we will divide it equally between administrative and distribution cost. Number 6, staff wages and salary of 27,000 had been incorrectly divided between distribution cost and administrative expenses in the ratio 2:1. So there is a cost of 27,000 for staff salary, wages and salary, and it was distributed in the ratio 2:1. But the correct ratio is distribution cost and to administrative expenses is 3:2. So this should be the right ratio. So we need to first remove this amount which was incorrectly included in that amount in distribution and administrative expenses. and then write down the correct amount there, okay, using this ratio. Number 7, finance cost included a full year interest on bank loan of 25,000 at 8% per annum. Okay, the bank loan has been received on 1st May 2024 and the correct interest rate is 6% per annum. So in finance cost, there includes a bank loan which is 25,000 and in which we calculated 8% interest for entire year. But question said that that loan was taken on 1st May 2024 and the interest is also only 6%. So the incorrect amount of interest on bank loan needs to be subtracted and we need to write down correct amount. Last one, 8. Taxation has been overstated by 5%. So whatever amount of tax we have, it is 1% more than what it's supposed to be. Okay, so we will do that calculation as well. We'll start with the first one with revenue. And the revenue amount in the question mentioned that it is 543,280. 543,280 is the amount. So first error that we have is the revenue includes the value of some goods sent on sales on return basis with the selling price of 4,200. So this is not yet sales. Okay, we have confirmation has not been received yet. So what we'll do is we'll subtract this. Less sales on return basis, and that is 4,200. Okay, first adjustment for the sales is done. There's a second part of it. We'll do it when we do cost of sales calculation. Number 2, sales return of 1,600 were omitted. So this is the sales return. So it will decrease your overall sales. So sales return, and sales return is 1,600 minus 1,600. Forgot this one, minus 4,200. And the last one is the purchase return of 7,740 were treated as sales return. So it was a purchase return, but we wrote it as a sales return, and after writing it, this is my revenue. But that amount was incorrect, so we'll add it back. Incorrect sales return. And incorrect sales return was 740. Now let's do this. And this is our revenue figure. Okay. Then second calculation that we have is for cost of sales. Cost of sales amount is given in the question, 292,400. Now first adjustment where the revenue or sales is on sales or return basis. Now when it is not sales yet, then we will include the cost of those inventory in our closing inventory, because customer hasn't confirmed the sales, so the inventory is still mine, okay, which I sold to my customer. And when I sold this, we had a markup of 50%. This is the sales price given, and there's a markup of 50%. So what we need to do is we'll simply convert this markup into margin, because in order to calculate profit included in revenue, we need margin. So markup to margin is, it is a 50%, so 100 plus 50. I'll show that out here. This is add increase, sorry, not add, sorry. This will decrease my cost of sales because my closing inventory is increasing. Increase in closing inventory. And how do we calculate that? I'll show you right here. So right now the amount of the sales amount is 4200, and there we added 50% markup. Okay, but this is the revenue, so we can simply divide this with 100. So we need to convert markup into margin, which is 100 plus 50, so 150. Okay, this is the chapter of incomplete record, margin and markup. If you want to, you can go back and then revise this particular chapter. So if you calculate that amount, this will give you the profit that was included out here. Okay, so let me quickly calculate that. Is 1400. Now 1400 is the profit included in the goods that we sold to our customer. So my calculation out here is 4200 is my sales amount, 1400 was the profit included. So the cost that I sold to my customer is 2800. Okay, so I'll add here, or sorry, I'll subtract here 2800 from my cost of sales. Number 2, sales return of 1600 were omitted from the statement. So this is only related to sales return, nothing to do with this one. And last one is a purchase return of 740 was treated as sales return. So while calculating the sales, we already included that. But now while calculating the cost of sales, purchase is part of that. And if there is a purchase return, then it will decrease my overall cost of sales because it will decrease the purchase. So we'll subtract this less purchase return of 740. Now let's calculate the total. And this is my total for, sorry, it needs to be subtracted. This is my total for cost of sales. Okay. After cost of sales, question was asking about depreciation. So let's calculate the depreciation. Depreciation. This is the incorrect depreciation. Depreciation 2024. But before that, let's calculate depreciation of 2023. Okay. Now in 2023, this is the first year we purchased the asset. Question said that asset was purchased on 1st January 2023. So from January to December, we are calculating depreciation. 36,000 is the cost, and this is the first year, so there was no accumulated depreciation. So accumulated depreciation is 0, and in that amount we calculate our rate of depreciation, which is 10%, and this will give you 3,600. Okay. Now this is the first year depreciation. Second year onwards, we need to calculate depreciation, and this was the incorrect depreciation we calculated in second year. Okay, in second year, we said that our cost is 36,000. In that, 3,600 was the accumulated depreciation, and once we find out the net book value, in that we calculated 15%. Okay, so if we calculate depreciation 15%, then we get 860, and this is the incorrect depreciation. Okay, the correct depreciation should be, correct depreciation in 2024 should be 3600 minus 3600 into 10%. Into 10%, and the 10% of this amount will give you 3240. Okay, so we charge incorrect depreciation in selling and distribution cost as well as in administrative expenses, and we need to rectify that. So let's go ahead and then let's do that question. Next is we have distribution cost. In distribution cost, amount is given for 47,560. Okay, adjustment number 1 done, 2 done, 3 done. Now 4, they say that distribution costs include a total cost of marketing campaign of 14,000. The marketing campaign commenced on 1st May 2024 and will end on 31st August 2025. So if you look at this 14,000, this is from 1st May till 31st August 2025, and I already mentioned that this is altogether 16 months. And we need to count only this year's expense, so which is from 1st May to 31st December. So 1st May to 31st December is 8 months. So remaining 8 months depreciation, remaining 8 months marketing campaign is prepaid for next year. So we'll subtract less prepaid marketing campaign. Okay, and then that is half of it, so it's 7,000 minus 7,000. Then we'll talk about depreciation, because next adjustment that we have is a depreciation. So less incorrect depreciation. You can do this way as well. I'll show you other way how you can do it, but this way is much easier to understand. So incorrect depreciation was 4,860, and question said that we'll divide depreciation equally between distribution and administrative expenses. So this is 4,860 was divided equally, and when I divide that, I'll get 4,000 is 2,430 here, and this is the incorrect amount which I included in distribution cost, so I'm subtracting that. And then I will add the correct depreciation amount. And correct depreciation amount is 3,240, which we calculated out here. And this is also equally divided between these two costs. So that is 1,620. Okay. After depreciation, number 6, staff wages and salary of 2,700 has been incorrectly divided into distribution and administrative expense in the ratio 2:1. So this is incorrectly divided. So like depreciation, first we'll subtract incorrect amount, incorrect salary. And incorrect salary was 27,000, and this would be divided in the ratio 2:1. So that means 2 divided by 3 for administrative expense. And when you calculate that, it is 18,000 minus 18,000, incorrect salary. Then we'll add back correct salary. Okay, and the correct salary is 27,000 into, then the correct ratio is 3:2, so into 3 divided by 5. Okay, and that will give you 16,200. Okay. Now, as you can see that previously the salary amount was 18,000. Now the new salary amount is 6,200. If I do small calculation out here, then just to be in case. So difference is 1,800 out here. Okay. So there is a decrease in the salary amount which was included before. So we can write down overstated salary and then we'll subtract 1,800 from there. Okay. So previously it was 18,000. Now it's supposed to be only 16,200. So we will subtract 1,800 from there only. You can do that adjustment. You can write down salary and then overstate amount 1,800, you will subtract it. So for some student that is an easier concept. You can do it, calculate this amount and then find out the difference, write the difference. Sometimes we'll add it, we'll subtract it, depends on that. And this is for others, those who find it more simpler to add and subtract incorrect amount and write down the correct amount. Okay, whatever method you choose, you will get the right answer. Okay, so your amount is 37,940 distribution cost. After distribution cost, administrative expense. Administrative expenses is here 61,300. This is your administrative expense. In administrative expense, we don't have anything till here, marketing campaign. Now in the depreciation expense is exactly like a distribution cost because we are subtracting equal amount. So I'll just copy paste this one. Incorrect amount was minus 2,430 and correct amount should be 1,620. When it comes to salary, first we'll subtract less incorrect salary, and incorrect salary is 2,700, so 27,000, but the ratio was 2:1, so it is a 1 for administrative expense divided by 3, and if I calculate that, that is 9,000, so minus 9,000, and we'll add correct salary. And the correct salary is 27,000 into 2 divided by 5. Okay, and that will give you 10,800. Okay, and let's calculate that sum of it. And I'm getting 62,290 as my administrative expense. Next, we have finance cost. Finance cost in the question given, finance cost is 18,540. Now in this, as per this adjustment, the finance cost include a full year interest on loan of 25,000 at 8% per annum, and this is the incorrect interest. So incorrect interest is 25,000 into 8%. Okay, So 25,000 into 8% will give you 2,000 here. This is incorrect amount, so we'll subtract 2000, and then we'll add correct interest amount. Correct interest amount is 25,000 into, now this is 6%, and whatever amount we get, it is for from May to December, so 8 months. So 8 divided by 12. Okay, and that will give me 1000. So my finance cost is 17,540. Now all this calculation will help us to prepare the next stage, which is to prepare new or the revised statement of profit and loss account for the year ended. In revised statement of profit and loss account, we'll write revenue. Revenue we calculated out here, 538,220. 538,220. Then we'll write cost of sales. Cost of sales we calculated, second one, 288,860. So 288,860. Subtract cost of sales from sales, and then you have gross profit. In gross profit, we'll subtract less distribution cost, and distribution cost we calculated right here, 37,950 minus 37,950, and after distribution cost we subtract administrative expense. And administrative expense we calculated 62,290 right here. Okay. Yes. Once you subtract these two, you will get profit from operation. Okay. This is your and in profit from operation, when we subtract less finance cost, which is we calculated out here, 17540 minus, sorry, then you'll get profit before tax. Now in profit before tax, when we subtract tax amount, then we'll get profit for the year. Okay. The question is, how do we calculate the tax? Now if you go back to the question mentioned that tax has been overstated by 5%. So this amount that is given for tax, 18,900, it is 5% more than what it's supposed to be. So we can say that this is 105% of the total tax amount. So if we calculate what is that 5%, then we can easily calculate how much tax we should have charged. Okay. So there's two ways. Either I calculate the 5% and then subtract 5% from this amount, or just calculate 100% which is supposed to be there. So 18,900 is the total tax amount. Out of this, how much is 100%? because this amount is 105% of the overall tax. Okay, because this is that 5% more. Okay, 5% more than what is supposed to be. So supposed to be is 100% and 5% more we added out here. And if you calculate this amount, then we will get 18,000. So minus 18,000. So finally we have profit for the year. Okay, I hope it makes sense. And if you have any questions, confusion, please comment so that I can get back to you. Okay, bye. Happy learning.